Welcome back to my channel. My people, I don't come again with another trending update in Nigeria. As it stands now, one River State lawyer, Daniel Wariboko, don't carry Tinubu, Senate President Godswill Akpabio and others go court over illegal state of emergency rule. Wahala no dey finish for this country. Make we no waste time. Arise TV crew go break everything down for una. So make we watch the full gist together. Before we start, abeg like this video so that YouTube will recommend it to others. If you never subscribe to our channel, do so because the subscription is free, and also turn on the notification bell so that you no go miss any of our updates. I go like hear wetin una think after this video. I go like hear una thoughts on the comment section below. Don't forget to drop your thoughts and also share the video with your friends and family. So now make we watch the video together.
A Rivers State indigene, Daniel Wariboko, has sued President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the federal government for suspending Governor Sim Fubara, his deputy, and the State House of Assembly. Wariboko instituted the suit at a federal high court in Abuja and prayed the court to nullify the action taken by the president, which he says is contrary to the 1999 Constitution as amended. He posted a copy of the suit on Instagram with the caption, "I have done my part." As Marcus Goldlow, PhD, once said, "Neither silence nor indifference in the face of overt injustice is a virtue to be desired or a discipline to be practiced." I am a Nigerian citizen, a lawyer, and a native of Rivers State. Over the past few days, I have watched as the democratic institution of my state were unlawfully suspended by a man who swore to uphold the Constitution. Today, I have submitted some of the questions weighing on my mind before the Federal High Court in Abuja, challenging the legality of the actions taken by the president. A congressman, John Lewis of blessed memory, said, "Democracy is not a state, it is an act, and each generation must do his part. I have done my part." These are people, citizens of River State, people condemning what appears to be an unconstitutional approval of a state of emergency in River State. Dr. Abati, I'd like for you to unpack some of those questions I raised earlier, especially as it has to do with the imminent danger.
Okay, section 305, sub 3. Paragraph 2, I think. Paragraph 1 says when there is when there is threat of war. Paragraph 2 says when there is imminent threat of an invasion or the possibility of war in the country. Now, section 2 of that same section, 305 sub 2, says that the president shall declare a state of emergency. Shall in law is obligatory. So the president has a primary responsibility to prevent either war or a possible invasion of Nigeria or a possible breakdown of law and order or a possible threat of war in any part of the federation. We do not question his powers in that regard. What is being questioned is how he has exercised that power. However, the contentious issue this morning is 305 sub 2 about imminent threat. Now, the president receives a lot of security reports. He gets the blue paper every morning from the Nigerian Intelligence Agency. He gets the report from the DSS every morning. I don't know what color the DSS is using now. It's a report. It comes in the morning, and the president, will read it and all of that. I don't want to give you. I got to know the various reports. Absolutely. He gets a report from Directorate of Military Intelligence. He gets briefing also from the National Security Advisor. And that is why sometimes, the president having a helicopter view, even if you are a presidential advisor, you tell him certain things, he may rely on those security reports to take a decision. The other part of it to note is that the situation in Rivers State, I hold the view that there was imminent threat of danger. No argument about that. Because we saw that the Ijaw Youth Congress was already saying that they will blow up federal government assets in that region if Fubara was impeached. We saw that the Ijaw National Congress was also on television saying that there will be chaos. Now, I guess no responsible president will fold his arms and say, let them go and do their worst. What I do not agree with is collapsing democratic structures. And I go straight to that point. The story you brought about Ibokete Ibas now doing a song and a dance because of an illegal appointment that he has been given. Now, there is no local government structure in place in Rivers State. There is no House of Assembly. The only thing you have is a sole administrator. Who is going to hold Vice Admiral retired Ibokete Ibas accountable? This is the point we're making about transparency and accountability. There is a lacuna there. And I also argue that we also seem to have created an impression that when civilians have problems with our democracy, we go and look for a soldier, a retired soldier, to come and help. Is it that there are no decent civilians who can even help in this kind of situation? So that's also another question about transparency and accountability. And that leads me to the National Assembly. The main question we're raising is about transparency. They said they went into a closed session in the Senate. What was that closed session all about? We said yesterday on this program, we want to see it live, because all of us have a stake in this matter, because it's our democracy that is at stake. And that's why I agree with Mr. Peter Obi, who said that the best practice in other places is that they will emphasize transparency and accountability. Absolutely. There will either be a roll call or the voting will be by electronic means. But we're still running the legislature in Nigeria as if we're in antediluvian times, operating democracy as if we're living in the Stone Age. And Senator Seriake Dixon has already issued a statement saying that when they went into that closed session, even before it, there was an attempt to gag him. And at the closed session, there were some senators who disagreed vehemently. But it was clear that those senators would not be allowed to speak in plenary. Now, we cannot have a kangaroo legislature at the national level, because at the end of the day, some people walked out. Senator Tambuwa, according to Senator Seriake Dixon himself, walked out of the plenary session because they saw that the outcome had been predetermined, and the National Assembly arguably lived up to its reputation as a Babasope National Assembly. And that is why the president is praising them for patriotism. The president may praise them for patriotism, but Nigerians are not convinced that the process was transparent. And that, again, is well illustrated by the fact that Obi Agwocha, Honorable, was shouted down by the Speaker of the House of Representatives. We are just saying anything they do should be transparent and accountable, and the people have the right to ask questions.
Absolutely. Well said, Dr. Abasi. Ayo, before I come to you, the situation in Rivers State, I mean, we're getting reports some people are out there on the streets while others are just maintaining their lane. Well, the chairman of Obiokpo local government area of Rivers State, Chijioke Ihonwo, was seen in a video singing Governor Fubara's praise during an event. Chijioke posted the video on his X account with a caption, "On Governor Fubara's mandate, we stand." Let's take a look. All right, we don't know when this event actually took place, but he posted it yesterday on his X account, sending a signal that they are standing, that they are standing behind Fubara. I'd like for you to touch on this, as well as the lawyer from Rivers State who sued President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for suspending Governor Fubara.
His name Daniel Wariboko.
Yes.
I'd actually taken that spot to touch on.
Perfect.
In terms of, I have done my part. Earlier on, I'd said that beyond, and I'd said opposition is dead in Nigeria because we had opposition party members in the National Assembly. I don't know whether or not they had information, as Senator Abi was saying to us earlier, that perhaps in that closed session, they'd given them some intelligence, security intelligence, which swayed them in terms of the way that they voted. But if they did, then I think they ought to be bold enough to also come out to say it out and defend their vote, saying that they knew something and was in the interest of Nigeria. If it was truly transparent, we won't argue about it so much. One of the biggest things as well is the lack of trust in the people that are there, whether it's from the president, the processes, and why a lot of people are seeing more of a political undertone as opposed to it being in the interest of Nigeria because of critical assets that could be endangered. Now, Daniel has a right. He's gone as he's a major stakeholder, as we've said, because he's a River State man, and he's approached the courts to challenge the legality or constitutionality of the president's decision. And this is one citizen who has decided to take his civic responsibility.
Absolutely.
We cannot just stay as citizens on social media, comment, and not just us. I mean, we are the fourth estate of the realm. We have the opportunity to also hold government to account. But Nigerians have the right to have their voices heard through the representatives in the National Assembly. And there are many ways that can be done. If it seems like they're not representing your views as you voted them in for, then you can recall them. But we know that that's almost nigh impossible. You can pursue legal opportunities. We cannot just sit down and talk, complain. They will move on to the next situation. So many issues happen, and they know the ways of Nigeria. You talk now, tomorrow we forget it. Let them just bring one of those popular reality shows. Everybody moves on, and we continue to recycle. I even took it back to the cycle of elections. If you are pathetic during elections, you have no right to complain when things like this break down, because you are part of the problem. Now, when it comes to politics, yes, we have people who are front runners, elected officials, but every single Nigerian has a civic responsibility to protect the integrity of our constitution and the integrity of Nigeria. And if you feel like anything is not working, explore the channels that are available to you. Your voices don't have to be quiet. I think it's very important. But the other man, I don't know if that's his own way of contributing to the discourse. I don't know how that helps anything at all. That chairman or suspended chairman it's not about any man. Like you said earlier, it's not about Fubara. It's about Nigeria.
Absolutely.
It's about the democratic processes in Nigeria that we're all fighting for.
A caveat though. These people singing day or day, they sound like an Ogogoro squad. So I don't know whether.
But he's the executive chairman of. That's why he wrote executive chairman of.
They were busy drinking and carrying cups. So were they making their statements under the influence? But that's by the way. The second thing, the Daniel Wariboko, who is going to court, two issues will come up. There will be issues about whether he has local standing. There will be issues about jurisdiction, because the basic dispute is between federal government and River State, and then at the end of the day, even if the matter goes to Supreme Court, as we have argued, say let's test 305 to know the extent. There will be issues about technicalities, as happened in Plateau State government, versus Attorney General of the Federation, which is a decided case. So, but that he has played his part as a citizen, he has expressed himself. But there will be technical issues.
That is what I love about the story, and that's the message out there. We all have to do our part to continue to foster democracy in Nigeria. Speaking about strong opposition, in another development, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has announced a coalition with Labour Party leader Peter Obi and former Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai to challenge President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the 2027 elections. Well, during a press conference in Abuja on Thursday, Atiku confirmed that discussions are underway to unify opposition forces against the ruling All Progressives Congress. Let's take a look.
Are we seeing this united front go ahead into the 2027 general election, thus assuming is the bet of a major opposition against the APC? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Rufai, you're saying it's not going to work. Let me read Bayo Onanuga's tweet before I come to you, Rufai. Bayo Onanuga wrote on X, he said, "My message to the coalition of Tinubu haters. President Tinubu is focused on governance to build a prosperous country. He's on the way to achieving this. 2 months to his midterm. He has many solid achievements to showcase. Intraceable problems are being tackled headlong. He cannot be distracted by the so-called coalition of politicians. They are not politicians after the public good. It's all about their self-interest. They are disgruntled. They are a frustrated lot. The leaders are sore losers. The coalition is an amalgam of Tinubu's haters. Their agenda is to stop Tinubu, but of course, that's what their agenda is, to take over the ruling All Progressives Congress. But the idea about a strong coalition, and we've been talking about this issue of a strong opposition and how it can work in many climes. There are strong opposition, and that's the only way a true democracy can be practiced. And I want to read this Peter Obi's tweet again before I come to you, Rufai, because it was a flurry of tweets and this is part of it. He wrote, "An effective opposition can only exist within a system that supports proportional representation, an approach practiced in countries like South Africa and Indonesia. In South Africa, for example, the National Assembly has 400 seats. The African National Congress received about 40% of the vote and holds approximately 160 seats, while the Democratic Alliance, with about 20% of the vote, holds around 80 seats, alongside several other parties. Those who contested the presidential election remain the recognized leaders of their respective parties. If that were the case in Nigeria, our Senate, comprising 109 seats, would be more reflective of electoral realities, with the APC holding 44 seats, the PDP 33 under the leadership of Atiku, and the Labour Party 27 under my leadership. Ideally, the House of Representatives should mirror this balance, with approximately 144 APC members, 108 PDP members, and 90 Labour Party members. But this is far from the case. The absence of laws restricting party defection allows politicians to switch allegiances freely and without consequence. This not only weakens the opposition, but also makes a mockery of the electorate and undermines the integrity of our democratic institution. What we are left with is not a genuine democratic system, but one that is transactional, compromised, and in many respects resembles organized criminality. Rufai.
It's correct. So let me tell you, I'll go historical now. In the 70s, we had a similar resemblance of what Peter Obi was saying. After the Shagari election, sort of like a government of national unity. But we know how that works. They frustrated the other parts, they subsumed power, then the Shagari camp consolidated in the next election in the early 80s. You see, over the years, the politicians have turned our democracy into a winner-takes-all. That's why I say coalition is going to be hard. You are almost destroyed for being opposition. Probably the only group that did a viable opposition, and that's why I still give them kudos till tomorrow, is the APC. When they were in opposition, and they nailed it right. Also, they had the capital base, and also they had a president like Goodluck Jonathan that wanted the system to be able to work. So kudos to that man.
Absolutely.
Kudos to Goodluck Jonathan for allowing opposition to thrive.
All right.
But since the APC got there now, they are not that kind of, free people with allowing opposition to thrive.
I wish we had a lot of time. I'd like to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on what's trending. We have to go for a special report. Thank you all. You all have a great weekend.